Hello everyone and welcome back to another board game unboxing. Today I picked up the Fallout board game by Fantasy Flight. I believe it just came back into print. Came out late last year, kind of like around Thanksgiving possibly. Um, Saw it at the game store and then was sold out and looks like it's just come back into print. So here's the box and here's all the contents. You get these cool miniatures in there as well. And we're going to just go ahead and get this open. I've been watching videos on how to play the game, so hopefully I'll be able to explain some of the components once I actually get it open. Let's just move the shrink wrap off of here. Alright, and there we go. So, Fallout, a post-apocalyptic board game for 1 to 4 players. That was one of the big selling points for me, was that I could be able to just play it with one player. Let's go ahead and get it open. So we have our Learn to Play guide here. Goes into detail of what all the components are. So we have our rules references, our map tiles. What are these guys? The scenario sheets, the miniatures, wasteland locate or wasteland encounters, settlement encounters. So like you're in cities or buildings, I guess you use those. Vault cards, the VAT dice. We have the quest cards, loot cards, asset cards. You see unique asset cards, perks, power tokens. That tracks the power of, for example, the Institute and the Railroad. You have the enemy tokens, the special tokens. These condition markers, I believe, which are like if you were like well rested or you're vilified or um, what's the one where it's like you're idolized. We have quest markers and faction markers, as well as agenda cards. We have the player boards with the pegs. So we have the white ones track your XP, green tracks radiation, red tracks health, and then that's the player board. We have a sample layout of the game. So some locations will start revealed and the other locations will be face down, and you have to take an action, an explore action to flip any of these over. We have resolving a turn, the move action. So the different actions, we have the explore, move. You can do a quest. You can do an counter action, as well as shopping and buying. We have the action on how to fight. Each enemy is going to have various VAT weaknesses. So the example here, if you can see it, is weak against shots to the arms and shots to the torso. How health gets tracked right here. The camp action. So camping lets you refill health and unexhaust items and things like that. And then how do you get experience and things like that. So the XP, it's kind of cool. So you have these letters that will spell special. You start with one from your character, and then you get a random one. When you level up, you get more of them. And basically, you jump over any missing letter. So here, it's starting right here. So we're gonna, let's say they earned 3 experience. It's gonna go 1, 2, skip here because it's empty, and 3. The factions basically will gain power, and if the factions end up getting to the bottom of their card or their chart, the factions win and the players don't. There's our or our learn to play guide. We have our rules reference sheet here, which just tells you about activating enemies. There's basically goes into further detail about all the different rules. So that's our rules reference, and we have a lot of tokens. So let's start punching these out, and we have our miniatures. Let's go into our miniatures first here. So it looks like we have our agenda cards. So each player in the game gets an agenda card, and that's kind of like their secret goal to win the game. So we have some agendas. So for example, this one says security. For each space Institute has advanced further than the Railroad, get +1 like prestige or fame or whatever they call it. And at the start of your turn, you may reveal this card to declare loyalty to them. Basically meaning if you're loyal to them, they generally won't attack you. We have the vault cards, and then these cards as well. We have the dice and the pins or pegs for tracking health and all that kind of stuff. So there's 4. Looks like 4 of each because it's a 1 to 4 player game. I believe there are 5 characters to choose from, but it's a 4-player game. We have all of these miniatures, which are pretty cool looking. Have this ghoul mini, so that's one of the characters you can play as, is this ghoul. There's a ghoul. We have, looks like a female wanderer, or maybe a vault dweller. So we got her. We have the male vault dweller wearing some, looks like some vault gear, as well as like some stuff that's been scavenged. He's got like a rifle, or it could be a shotgun. And then we have the 2 big figures. So we have the super mutant. So super mutant and the Brotherhood of Steel figure, which is this really cool looking. Apparently, he has a perk that he has -1 to movement, but on top of that, he has power armor, so he can absorb more damage. The super mutant, from what I've seen, whenever it takes radiation, it actually earns experience. And these are, I believe, are the agenda cards, or not agenda. These are the setup guides that'll basically tell you what you need to set up for any particular game. So the locations are, a lot of the locations are, these locations here, here, and here are double-sided. So one might have you going to, let's see if I have one that has Diamond City right here. So Diamond City, on the foot side of the Diamond City tile is the Megaton tile. Once you set the game up, this is basically the initial setup guide. And so basically, in this example, you'll put the Crossroads Camp here. You'll shuffle the rest of the location cards that are single-sided to a pile, and then you'll put out these locations according to this grid. So you have face-down locations here, here, all the way across here, 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 and then the other more hostile locations will be here. You put Megaton here, the mall, you have Project Purity here, and then a tower here. Once this is set up, you've done everything in the setup thing, you flip this over, and it is the Capital Wasteland. So you have, basically this one is the Brotherhood of Steel versus the Enclave. The other one, let me see, find one that has Diamond City. So this one is a Diamond City map from Fallout 4. Once you set it up, you flip it over, and it is Railroad versus Institute. So it looks like it incorporates the factions from Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. I don't know if it includes all the sub-factions of like the NCR and stuff like that from New Vegas. I don't believe it does. But there's various other enemies all in these tokens. So we're just going to go ahead and look at some of these tiles really fast. And for example, let's take a look at some of the quest cards. Get the bag open. That'd be nice. All right. For example, a quest card will basically give you options, and the encounters will do the same thing, where it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. It's like, do you want to do option A or option B? You'll do one of those options, and then it will tell you to add another card from the quest deck into the encounter deck. So basically, one stage will lead to another, which will lead to another, so it kind of branches off. But yeah, this one says, for example, this is quest 73. Says you pass a mechanic as you walk through the confined halls of the vault. He grumbles as he works on a section of the wall. If you ask me, the damn overseer is a traitor for bringing these outsiders in here. We should vote her out. We don't want to meet the same fate as Vault 109. So it says this is the last card in this deck. Add Encounter 80. It says what about Vault 109? So if you choose that option, you get 4 XP. You add 4 experience. You add that quest stage 83, and then let's see. Or you do this. So basically, it's like you get one of the options, and then you choose which one you want to do, and then that'll add different cards into the rest of the deck, which you may come across later in the game. And then we have these are the agenda cards. I believe also the equipment cards are in here too. Agenda cards kind of serve 2 purposes. So here's the security one we talked about earlier, where you're basically doing stuff for the Institute. Also, when the enemies move, when all players have gone, the enemies will activate. You'll draw a card off the top of this deck. You'll ignore basically all this. You'll be looking down here, and it'll say this one, for example, would have insects move or beasts, or like rat scorpions, the bloat flies, probably like mole rats and that kind of stuff will activate and move around. This one, the one below it, for example, is the humans will activate, and so on. So each card will tell you what kind of enemy type will be activating and moving on their turn when you draw it. Let's see what else we have here. Let's go look at some of these tiles. So we have these are the location tiles. The arrow will basically tell you what way it should be configured. So when you flip it over, the arrow should be facing upward. We have bottle caps for our currency, and then these are the special tiles here. Um, More bottle caps, so there's ones and fives for money. We have stuff for the railroad, the stars, the institute. These are the faction trackers, and then these are the parts of the player board. The game looks like it takes up quite a bit of space, so I probably won't be able to, fully unbox every single token, or maybe even I probably won't even have the space to do like a setup video or like a play video. There's plenty of playthrough videos on YouTube, so you just search for Fallout board game gameplay, and there's some great videos where they have tiles laid out and things like that. So I'm really looking forward to playing this. I'm a big fan of the Fallout video games. I've been playing Fallout since I believe I got the first one in like 1998 or so. We got Fallout, then Fallout 2, and ordered the collector's editions of Fallout 3, New Vegas, and then I didn't get the collector's edition of 4 because I didn't have a console, but I have Fallout 4 on PC as well. I've been playing that since the day it came out. So really looking forward to playing this, especially like that you can play it with 1 to 4 players. So it does have solo play in there as well, and it has kind of like random encounters like you would in the Fallout games. So this has just been the unboxing of the Fallout board game by Fantasy Flight. Got all the stuff in there, and I'm looking forward to giving this a shot. Maybe playing it with my game group. Again, big fan of Fallout, and looking forward to playing the game. I want to thank everybody for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.